Hi, today we're going to talk about how exactly does animation work. Basically what happens, as you probably know, in a motion picture camera, we have a bunch of frames that are played back sequentially, one after the other really fast, and that gives us the illusion of motion through a process called the persistence of vision. It's your eyes kind of get like an after image, and it keeps it in your brain for a fraction of a second, and if you play enough of them fast enough, you get the illusion of motion. So as you can see with our little character jumping here, and as we flip through each frame, we kind of get an illusion of motion. And that's the same thing as if you had back in grade school, if you made a little flip book on the edge of your textbook and you flipped it, and it would give you that illusion of motion. And that's the persistence of vision effect, which is how motion picture cameras work and how animation works in general. Now, each second in a motion picture camera, 24 frames go by. So that's 24 frames a second is our frame rate. In video it's 30, but generally animation is done at 24 just because it's less drawings to do, and then we let computers and machines figure out the frame rate if we transfer it to video. So generally, if you're animating, you're working at 24 frames a second. So what does that mean? Well, that means, say I've got five drawings, and I want to go across the field. I do my first drawing here, my second drawing here, my third drawing, fourth, fifth, and it would move evenly across the field. Now, this is what's called even timing, because I'm moving at a very even spacing across the field. So, it would move very like a robot. Now, if we want to slow down, as we're moving across the field, our drawings would go kind of like this. 1, 2 would be here and be moving fast, and then as we pack the drawings closer together, it slows down, in our visual field. So if you're packing lots of drawings close together, that means it's slow. If the drawings are far apart, it means it's moving fast across the field. So when we're animating, you'll see what's called a timing chart, which is usually up here in the corner. You'll see kind of like these tick marks and the drawing numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That's what's called a timing chart, and what that indicates is the spacing between the drawings. So in this particular instance, where I've got a drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's even timing, and my timing chart would look like this. It's very even, halfway for each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be indicated along the side here in our timing chart. Very even timing. But if we want to slow down, we've got to kind of do a different chart. So if you'll notice the centers of each of these objects, if I put tick marks there, you see it's wide and it gets closer and closer together. So my timing chart on the side would look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's called a slow in. And if we want to ease out of something, say our first ball is at a stop, and then we want to speed out of that, it's called a slow out. And that would be, as you can see, our tick marks, they slow out of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our timing charts. That's, it's how we indicate the spacing between the drawings. So 1 and 5 are, your key or extreme drawings. These other ones are like in-betweens or breakdowns. 4 would be considered a breakdown drawing, then 2 and 3 are in-betweens. So that's basically how you indicate timing and spacing in animation, and it all relates back to that 24 frames a second. So that's your base time, and you're just figuring out how far the drawings are going to move across the field within that time space. And the closer you pack them together, the slower they seem to move. The further apart they are, the faster they seem to move. One thing that you have to be aware of is that, say you had a drawing that was here, a drawing that was here, then all of a sudden you started packing the drawings here, 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 and then all of a sudden jumped over here. It would make this kind of like jerky kind of motion. So unless you want that jerkiness, you want your timing to kind of like either be even or slowing in or slowing out of a move, and you want to kind of like make sure the spacing is very controlled. Anyway, that's a quick lesson on spacing and timing charts. Hope that helped.